Hi, everybody. It's James Garrett from Adaptive Path here for a UX picnic here on beautiful San Francisco Bay on a Friday afternoon. And I thought I would share with you some thoughts about the role of intuition in design. You know, UX designers are just really, really interesting people because they instinctively want to make sense of the world. They want to make everything fit. And that can be a challenge for us because we then apply these same instincts about design toward the methods by which we do design work. And we tend to try to systematize and methodize our approaches. And what I've found over the years is that having a really solid methodology can be a good baseline for doing good work, but it isn't really going to take you to places where you're having new creative insights and bringing really different thinking to the table. So for me, it's always about methods as a starting point and not as an end point for how I approach my work. I feel like it's much more important that I go through the process in order to inform me as the designer rather than having the process inform or in some cases even dictate the outcome of the design work itself. My role in the process is not as executor of the process. The process exists to support the creative work that I'm doing as the designer, and it should feed me. It should enrich how I do my work, and not be a thing that I have to sort of chain myself to execute a script. To follow a certain standard process in order to achieve what's going to be perceived as an acceptable outcome. I don't think that all design decisions have to be rationally justifiable. I don't think that all design decisions have to be defensible under cross-examination. I feel like there is a place for individual voice and personal choice and just following your gut. My design approach is really based around having hunches about what I think will work, and then playing around with that, experimenting with that, seeing if I can make something work, and trying to learn from that process. But it is never about solving little parts of the design problem in isolation and hoping that those things will add up to some meaningful whole. It's always, for me, a more holistic and intuitive process than that, where definitely I am looking at the user research, and definitely I am developing models of how people think, how people behave, as they are moving through the experience that I'm trying to create. But all of that work really is just in service of trying to put forward a creative vision in the world. And I think that for a lot of people, the assumption is because it's what they learned in school or because it's what they learned on the job in other organizations that they've been a part of, that people frequently don't feel confident simply having their own point of view about what makes for a good experience. The desire to kind of rationally reduce it to an inescapable argument that this must be the right design because of X, Y, and Z factors, for me, kind of drains the humanity out of the process and out of the work that we do. And so I'm always trying to encourage the designers that I work with to put away their notes and to forget about the process and just take a step out into thin air and see what materializes under your feet. That, for me, is the essence of what makes this work so rewarding, the opportunity to play around with ideas and discover what happens when ideas unexpectedly intersect. That unexpectedness, I think, is an essential part of it for me. I feel like what I'm trying to do in the design process is to tip the odds in favor of serendipity for myself by surrounding myself with a lot of interesting inputs, by collaborating with people who think differently than I do. These things give me opportunities to see problems from different perspectives, or to try out a lot of different perspectives and see what materializes from looking at it through that lens. But again, it's not about constructing arguments to say, well, we've looked at the problem from these 6 different perspectives, and now we can say with 97% certainty that we've arrived at the correct solution. I feel like it's more a matter of what are the inputs, what are the collaborations that are going to help me feel confident in those hunches, that make me feel like my intuition is growing stronger as I immerse myself in the problem, as I look at the problem from different perspectives, and that I can, when that little voice in my head says, go this way, I can trust that, because I feel like that is that intuition is coming from an informed place. Thank you so much to Optimal Workshop for inviting me to be part of UX Picnic. Nick, it's been really fun to share my ideas with you, and I look forward to hearing your ideas as well.